Well, it couldn't be put off any longer. I have now left Steenwijk and I suppose for this trip bringing it to a close at the Hook of Holland, but got a bit of cycling between now and then. But in truth, I'm quite sad this morning, to be honest, because I've really enjoyed being with Wouter and the 3 dogs, Stockhood, Pasha and Aubrey. They've been incredibly kind to me, and by being able to base myself with Wouter and in Steenwijk, I've had a place to work, a place to springboard off and see places, and it's been great from that perspective. But I think what's more important for me, and on a very personal note, is I feel like I've found a second home, a place where I felt welcomed. The whole town and the people I've met have been incredibly nice. The Velomax people, the local bike shop, who have been incredibly helpful, who supplied the trailer, have made the whole journey doable. So I'm grateful to them and would like to thank them for being so kind and supportive. But really, it's all about Wouter, really. He's been really great. He's allowed me to feel part of a community. His friends have become my friends. And yeah, I feel a great sadness leaving. I have Wouter's friend Geert. Oh, he's incredible. There are no words, but I've enjoyed every minute in his company, and he and his wife Elise have made me welcome in their home, and with Elise's cooking, the man couldn't want for much more. And it wouldn't be fair to mention everyone and then forget Elena, who I'm missing already, and who I hope won't feel too bad when I'm not there on Fridays to make the tea and prepare the peas. And then we have, finally but not least of course, Michiel and Tinny, who have also been great. They invited me into their home and made me feel very welcome. But collectively, they've made me feel part of something. So yeah, they're some of the people who have made my stay in the Netherlands perfect, really. I shall miss every single one of them, and will think about them all the time. But I'm going to sign off for now, compose myself a bit and focus on the ride. And what I'll do is I'll talk to you again soon after Zwolle. The sort of big news of the day, the morning, just to put it into context, I was doing some sort of test rides yesterday and going over a pretty sharp speed bump. The trailer disconnected itself from the sort of ball socket joint, and while there was no damage to anything, it was pretty spectacular. It sort of tumbled head over heels and landed a few feet away from where I'd stopped. But mindful of this, not wanting to injure anybody with a running loose trailer, I spent the evening looking at the options for, well, to make sure the trailer didn't disconnect and cause trouble to others. And I came up with this wizard idea of wrapping a bungee cord around the seat tube and then putting the two hook ends on the handles of the trailer, which when it's disconnected you can move it around more easily with. So I bungeed it up, and it's working a treat. The trailer feels secure. There's no issues with stability or hasn't altered or anything. However, the reason the trailer is designed to disconnect from the bike if it goes over a bump or falls on its side is to ensure the cyclist just cycles on regardless. He has to come back for his trailer, of course, but hasn't been pulled down by the trailer. When you bungee cord everything together, as I did, when you misjudge a bend at an intersection and the trailer goes over the curb and tips itself over, the bungee cord ensures that the rider and the bike also lose contact with the ground, and in consequence I was unceremoniously tipped into the verge, that was fine. There was no injury or damage to me or the trailer. Pretty embarrassing. Good morning. I'm in Apeldoorn this morning in a lovely Vrienden op de Fiets place, hosted by Dirk and Aljan. It's ideal. I arrived in good time yesterday, and yeah, the ride down wasn't bad. There was nothing to report really, apart from the dislodging of the trailer very early on in the ride. But after that, it was uneventful, beautiful day, and a reasonable ride down with no adverse conditions. There was a nice bit of sun, so I've got a little bit of tan, as you can see. Last night was a bit disappointing. I had planned to walk into town to get something to eat, but I had to secure accommodation for this evening. So I spent probably best part of 2 hours calling and emailing different people for accommodation through the Vrienden op de Fiets network. And finally I've secured a place for this evening, but it's a little bit out of my way. Again, it's actually a place I've stayed before. It's up in a place called Schaafland, and I think between here and the Hook of Holland it adds a sort of 10-15 kilometers to my journey, so I think I've got something like 90 kilometers today, and then probably, actually I've told you a lie, that's an absolute lie. I've got a very short day today. I've got about 70-80 kilometers, and then tomorrow I've got 90, but yeah, today looks like it's going to be nice, so fingers crossed for another smooth journey, smooth ride. The sort of highlight of the morning, I suppose, is that I'm invited round for coffee to see my host of last year, the great Mr. Owers. He was good enough to host me last year when I was in this town, and he took me on a sort of historic cycle tour of the town, so it was great. So he's invited me for sort of coffee and a sort of second breakfast, if you will. Looking forward to seeing him greatly. So that might slow my ultimate departure from Apeldoorn, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him and looking forward to the ride. There's not a lot to talk about on the way up to Schaafland, so yeah, we'll play it by ear.